So in the previous class, we have started Playwright and we have seen how to install Playwright PyTest plugin, and then we have seen how to write a basic test. So we have just created one single module, and then we have written two different type of test. One is for verifying the URL and the title of the web page. So from today, we are going to focus on locators. So throughout the automation, there are two important things we need to learn, or two important things we need to focus on. The first important thing is identifying or locating the elements. So elements are nothing but what? Web elements. We can call them as elements or web objects. So whatever we can see on the web pages, everything is a web element, like it's a button or radio button, text box, image, drop downs, links. So whatever the element we can see on the web page, everything is comes under the web element. So in the locators part, we will talk about this much, identifying or locating the web element. So this is the first activity we will focus on. The second thing is perform actions or performing actions. So this is the second thing. So throughout our automation, you can go with any other tool or Playwright or Selenium, whatever. These are the two important things we need to focus more on. First thing, identifying, locating the web elements. So before performing any action, first we need to locate the web element, or we need to identify where exactly that element is located. So that is important thing. And once you identify or located the element, then we will think of action. So what kind of action we can perform on that particular element? Let us say if you have a button. So first we need to locate that button, where exactly it is located on the web page. And once you locate it, then we'll perform certain action on the button. So suppose if it is a button, we will perform the click action. If it is an input box, we will perform some text. We'll pass some text into the input box. If it is a link, again, we will perform some click action, right? So these are all different actions. So first thing, we need to locate the web elements. And once you locate the web element on the web page, then we will try to perform certain action. And once you perform these two, then we will perform the different validations. So this is the third part, validations or verifications. So first we need to locate the web elements. Second thing, we will perform certain actions on the web elements. And then we will talk about the validation. So these are the three important things we need to focus on throughout our automation classes. Okay. So for today and the next 2 to 3 sessions, we will mainly focusing on how many ways we can locate the web element. So there are different approaches, there are different mechanisms are supported in Playwright. So we will discuss all of them in detail. Then we will understand how many ways we can locate the web element. So once we are familiar with this topic, then we will go with the performing action, how to interact with the different type of web elements and what type of actions we can perform on different type of web elements. And then we will discuss about validations, and we also called as a assertions. Validations are called as a assertions. Okay, these are the three things we are going to discuss. And today we will talk about locating the elements. Locating the elements or web elements. So to locate the web element, so what is the locating the web element means what? We need to just identify the element on the web page so that we can perform certain action on it. So to locate the web element on the web page, Playwright is provided their own locators, built-in locators. The first type of locators, Playwright provided, or we can call them as a Playwright built-in locators. Okay, Playwright built-in locators. And the second is a traditional locators. Like we have an XPath. Like in Selenium, we have used XPath. Similarly, here Playwright also support XPath, and also it support CSS. So these are the three different approaches which we have to locate the elements. But Playwright, especially even if you're using JavaScript or TypeScript, Python, Java, whichever language you're using, especially Playwright mostly prefer CSS. So first priority is always go to either CSS or Playwright built-in locators. Playwright built-in locators are available, but there are some limitations. So sometimes we cannot handle complex elements, especially when you have elements inside the shadow DOM or inside the iframe, nested iframes. So sometimes you will feel some difficulty when you use built-in locators. So then we will go with the CSS. So we will use CSS very, very frequently in Playwright. So XPath come into the next level. So XPath comes into the next level. So we will give low priority, low importance to the XPath, especially in the Playwright. So most of the time we will prefer CSS. Either we go for Playwright built-in locators or we can use CSS. Okay. So we will discuss all these type of locators in multiple sessions. Today we will focus on the first type of locators. So Playwright built-in locators. So what are the different locators are supported by Playwright? And these locators are specific to Playwright. They are not there in any other automation tool. But XPath CSS supported almost in every automation tool. Even Selenium also supported Playwright, Cypress, in everywhere it is supported. Because these two are universal, commonly available in almost every automation tools. But Playwright built-in locators are especially designed by Playwright itself. Okay. So today we will focus on this Playwright built-in locators, and next classes we will focus on XPath and CSS. All right. Now, what are the different built-in locators are supported by Playwright? So let's go and see their documentation, official documentation. You can just type Playwright PyTest locators. Just search for it and you will directly navigate to their official web page. So this is their official documentation, locators documentation. Now you can look at this. So these are the recommended built-in locators provided by Playwright. Like all these methods we can access through page fixture itself. Page.get by role, page.get by text, get by label, get by placeholder, get by alt text, get by title, get by test ID. So there are multiple options are there. These are different methods. In the different scenarios, we will try to use the different methods to look at the web elements. We will see all the examples one by one. Okay, these are the list of locators currently supported by Playwright. These are all called built-in locators. We are not going to use CSS XPath in this. We are directly use this methods to locate the elements and then we will perform certain actions. Okay. So now let's see how we can use these locators practically by taking some application. I will try to demonstrate each and every locator. And at the end of the session, we will see where exactly we use this locator. So when we have to specify, when we have to go for role, or when we have to use get by text, or when we have to use label, placeholder. Okay, I'll show you that. So now let's go back to PyCharm directly. And let's create a new directory for today's class. New directory, say day 19. Day 19. So in this, I'm going to create new Python file or Python module. And I call this module name should always start with what? Test underscore. I call it as a PW locators demo. Playwright locators demo. So in this example, I'm going to show you only Playwright built-in locators. We are not going to touch XPath or CSS for today's class. The next classes, we will spend more time on CSS and XPath. Okay. So let us see how we can handle this. And before that, let me show you that application which we are going to automate. So I'm taking few elements because we cannot see all kinds of elements in one single page. So I will try to use multiple pages to demonstrate these methods. Okay. So this is the first application I'm going to use to demonstrate Playwright locators. Let's go and open. So this is e-commerce application demo.nopcommerce.com. So everybody is able to access this. This is a free application and we can automate certain things on this application. Okay. So let us start with the Playwright locator. So I created a new module and we'll start with the first one. So what is the first method is get by alt text. I'm going to start with one by one. So get by alt text. So I will put a method name as well as the functionality so that we will try to use this. First method is what? Get by alt text. So or else what I can do is I will directly create a test function, test underscore. I can name it as test underscore verify, test underscore verify, PW locators. And this is my test function. So whenever you create a new test functions, we have to use a def keyword in Python. Okay, so this is my test function. So def test verify PW locators, and even the test function name is also should start with the test keyword. Should start with the test keyword. So def test underscore verify underscore PW locators. And every function should take one fixture. Page, that fixture comes from the page class. Okay. And whenever you're using this page fixture, page class, or PyTest methods, we need to import required modules and packages. So I'm trying to import. So from Playwright, dot, we have a sync API, async API, right? We are going to prefer sync API, especially for web testing. So from that, I'm going to import page class, and also I'm going to add some assertions. In that case, we will use expect also. Expect. So these are the two things we need for now, right? So now we can start writing the test function. So we need to write a test here. So what we need to do first, we need to launch our application. So let us start with the first test function, which is get by alt text. Get by alt text. So this is the first function. So when I say get by alt text, the function name will be like this. So get underscore by underscore role, get underscore by underscore text. And I'm using this one, get underscore by underscore alt text, or else I can directly copy this. Right. So this is a function I'm going to use. So what exactly it is? By using a get by alt text, we can locate the web elements. I'll put it here or else. Okay, this is my first function. So before using them, we need to launch our web page. So to launch our web page, what's the command? Page dot go to, and here we need to specify the URL of the application. So let's go back and get this URL and then specify here. So this will navigate to that particular web page. Now, when exactly we use this get by alt text? So alt text is one of the attribute for the element, one of the attribute of the element. But before starting this, we need to understand what is an attribute, what is an element. So we need to have a basic HTML knowledge. Okay, so what is a tag? What are the properties? What is the inner text? What is the text? We need to have some basic understanding of HTML. So let me just discuss that first, and then I will come back and implement the test. So normally, if you look at any web page, so you can see like this, right? We can see some button, some element, input boxes, some links and everything. So any web page normally designed by what? HTML. So the backend technology or the backend language is HTML, hypertext markup language. By using this HTML, we can design only the elements. Like we can place this button, input boxes, everything we can design by using HTML. But if we want to add some functionality to these elements, let's say if I want to do some action when you're clicking on this button, so where we can write that kind of action using JavaScript. So HTML is provided just a skeleton of the web page. That means by using HTML, we can just design the web elements. But to add functionality to those elements, we will try to use JavaScript. So by combining HTML and JavaScript, we can design the web pages. Okay. And if I look at here, this is the HTML and this is our actual web page looks like. And in between these two, there is something called DOM, Document Object Model. So what exactly DOM means? So whenever you are browsing some particular page, let's say I browsed this URL and I got this page, and this page contains so many elements. So whenever you are launching any web page, by default, the DOM will be created by the browser. DOM will be created at the runtime. Whenever you are browsing this URL, the DOM will be created by the browser. So where we can see that DOM, if I just right click here, inspect, and here in the bottom window, here you can see this DOM. This is actually the DOM structure. This is actually the DOM structure, which is generated by the browser itself. But the actual code of this browser is what? If I just go and see view page source, here you can see this. So this is the actual code. There is a lot of code here, but we are not able to see everything. So this is actual source code of that particular page, which is comes from the server when I hit this URL. But we cannot understand this source code, right? So there should be some representation is needed. So what our browser will do, our browser will interpret this particular statement and present like a UI format. So we are able to understand this. So
We are not talking about this one or this one. So in between, we have something called DOM. So when you right click and see the inspect, here you can see the DOM. And this DOM will be loaded at runtime. Whenever you're trying to browse this DOM will be loaded according to the UI elements also will be loaded. Sometimes it may take few seconds also. Because of that, sometimes you may get synchronization problems when you're working with the Selenium. But in Playwright, we don't have such type of problems. Playwright will automatically take care of it. Okay, we will discuss that later. So the DOM will be generated at runtime whenever you're browsing certain web page. But what is the importance of this DOM? Because all the locators works based on this DOM only. Okay, so if you don't have a DOM, even though if you write a locator, that cannot identify or locate the web element on the page. So the DOM actually looks like this. It is a hierarchical view, or you can say a tree structure. If I look at the HTML, see this HTML is a root tag, and this is the closing tag. And between this HTML and HTML closing tag, there is a body opening tag and closing tag. Inside the body, the elements are present. So this is the button element. One is input element. Another two are paragraph elements. This is the HTML, pure HTML. And this is the DOM view. In the DOM view, the same HTML representing as a tree format or in hierarchical way. Let's say HTML contains a header and body. And now body contains a different elements like button, input, paragraphs, and so on. And every element inside the body is having certain attributes. Even if you look at the HTML, every element, so let's say button, input, P, these are all tags actually, body, head, HTML. These are all called tag names, or we can also call them as elements. So every tag or every element is having certain attributes. Let us say if you look at the button is having one attribute or property, which is ID. And input is another element or another tag, which is having type. Type is an attribute of the input. Similarly, there are two paragraphs are there. So again, first paragraph element ID is demo1, second paragraph ID is demo2. So when you look at the HTML or DOM, every item or every tag is an element. Every tag is representing a certain element on the web page. Or we can also call it as a node, N-O-D-E. Call them as a nodes. Every node is an element, and every element is having certain properties or attributes. So we will able to locate the web elements using these properties. Or we can differentiate the web elements on the page using their own properties. Okay. Just like how we can identify the person with the height, weight, color, name. There is some signal, so some based on some attributes, right? So similarly, we will also try to find the elements on the web page based on their attributes. And from where we will get those attributes from the DOM itself. Okay, so this is the background. Now let's go back and see how we can use Playwright locators to locate the web element. Especially CSS and XPath will work directly working on the DOM itself, directly interact with the DOM. But Playwright methods or Playwright locators, whatever we are using, they're indirectly interact with the DOM. So we don't directly go with the DOM, but we will get certain properties from the DOM. We will try to use them in the Playwright locators. But ultimately, whichever type of locators you are trying to use for Playwright, all these type of locators needs DOM. Every browser will able to create a DOM. Only at the runtime, the DOM will be created. Okay. And sometimes what will happen is the page will be loaded, but the DOM creation will take some time. It will be delayed sometime. So in those cases, you may not able to locate the elements properly. So loading the entire web page is not only that important. So only the DOM also should be loaded completely. So sometimes you will see such type of issues or such type of errors in your automation scripts. Okay. Yes, we will automatically pick the locators. No. Locators we need to write by using certain attributes. That's the reason I'm saying we have to use certain attributes and we have to tell the locator to identify so and so element by using so and so attribute. That's the procedure. Even Selenium is also, it is the same process. Okay. Now I'll show you how we can look at the elements. You will understand better. Now let's come back. So this is a test function I have written and just launch my page. Now I want to use a locator called get by alt text. And what is this alt text actually? So we need to understand this. Get by is okay, but what is alt text? And where we can find this alt text and what type of elements we can locate by using this alt text. So most of the times, if you want to locate the images on the web page, you can prefer alt text. Okay, so whenever you want to locate images on the web page or certain logos kind of thing, or product images are there, especially when you go with e-commerce applications. So most of the times the images are having this alt text property. And such type of images we can easily locate. So let me show you. If I go back to this page and I'm just have some logo here, NOP commerce. And if you right click on this and inspect that element, and you can see the DOM here, IMG is what? It is an element or is tag. So what are the attributes are there? Alt is one attribute. SRC is another attribute. So there are two attributes are there. And do we have alt attribute for this image? Yes. So most of the times images contains the alt attribute. So if you have this attribute, alt attribute for that element, you can locate that element using this alt text. So alt is an attribute and this is the value of the alt attribute. And this is also called as alt text. So if you have this attribute for the element, you can easily locate that element. So not only images, if you find this kind of alt attribute for any other element also, you can easily locate by using alt by text method. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I just want to locate this element first, and then I will verify this element or this logo is present on the page or not. I want to check this logo is visible or the logo is exist or present on this page or not. And to check that, first of all, we need to locate this element. So to locate this image, I am trying to use this alt text property. So this is the method will be useful. So how we can use it? Simple. Page dot get by. You can see there are so many methods are there. So get by alt text. This is the method we need. Get by alt text. And here we need to just provide the text value, alt text value. So where we can find it again in the DOM itself. Go to the DOM and just double click, copy the text, alt property text and paste it over here. So this particular method will find that element. And what this get by alt text method will return, whenever you say get, this will get you some data or output or some element. So basically this particular method will return a locator. It is return type is what? Locator. So we have to store that element in a variable. So we can create one variable. Let's say I'm creating variable called logo. Now what this method will do, this is capture that element and store that in a variable. Now this is the type of locator actually. Now we need to check this particular element is visible or not. So to perform the assertion, we have an expect method, right? Expect function in Playwright. So inside this, you can pass this element, logo element, which we have identified with this. And what is a method we can use to check the visibility? Dot to be visible, to underscore b underscore, you can see visible. All methods will automatically pop up here. You can check it. Even if you forgot, no problem. To be visible. So this will verify that this particular element is present or not. Suppose if you don't want to write a separate statement like this, simply what you can do, you can just copy only this part and you can pass directly inside the expect. This is also fine. Single statement. So this will locate the element, and once it is located, then it will check it is visible or not. Or else you can directly pass this element. First get that element and you can pass it, because this get by alt text method will return the web element, or it will return the locator basically. In Selenium, we call it as a web element, but here everything we call it as a locator. Okay. So now this will verify this logo is visible or not. Right. Now let us run this. So to run this, what we can do, there are multiple ways. One is what we can just right click directly and you can run from here. But when you run from here, by default, it will run in headless mode. What is the default browser and default mode in Playwright? Interview question. What is the default browser and default mode of running? What is the default browser is Chromium, and default mode of running is headless. Okay, remember this. Default mode is headless, default browser is Chromium. Okay, now when you run this, by default, it will use Chromium browser and also it will try to run in headless mode. Sometimes when you run your tests in headless mode, sometimes it will fail on some particular browser. You need to carefully run it. You need to run multiple times. So now it is failed because I have run in headless mode. So better to put in the headed mode now. Okay. So not, it will not happen for every website, but this is having some issue. We are not able to run this in the headless mode. So let us make it as a headed mode. But how we can run this in headed mode? Through the command, we can pass it, one parameter, hyphen hyphen headed, we can pass. But through UI, how we can pass? So to run this test through UI, this is the option we are using, right? Or else we can directly use this option. You can just right click here, you can run it. In any way, it will try to run in headless mode using Chromium. But I want to pass those parameters in the UI also. There is an option. What is an option? When you right click here, you see the run Python test, right? Instead of choosing this option, just go with the third option, modify run configuration. So if I look at this modify run configuration, here you can see additional arguments. There is a small input box you can see. Here we can pass arguments. So which browser you want to run? Chromium browser. That also you can configure here. N number of parameters you can configure. So as of now, I want to configure headed mode. So hyphen hyphen headed. And if you want to configure browser, again, you can configure space hyphen hyphen browser. So we have used the same parameters in the command line in yesterday class. Same commands I'm providing in the UI itself. So I say browser equal to what? Chromium, Firefox, or whatever. So you can configure all the parameters here. But by default, the Chromium is a default browser. So I'm just removing this for now. So if you specify this and say apply, when I say apply, this configuration will be saved. And the next time when you run the test directly from the UI, this will be considered. Okay, now I'll show you. So say apply and say okay, done. Now I'm going to run this. Just observe. You can run like this, or you can directly right click on the file and you can run it. So you can use first option now. So this time it will launch my Chrome browser and it is went very faster actually. Now you can see this is got passed. It went very faster. But if you want to see, we can put some timeout also. So there are multiple ways we can pass our code. For example, let's say after launching my page, I just want to pass my script for some time. It is not because of the issue. Okay, because of I just want to see the UI. Otherwise, it will go very faster. So just to pass our code for some time, you can use one module called time, which is default module, which is there in the Python itself, time.sleep. And here you can specify the time in seconds. So this is one option we have. We can specify the time in the seconds. And there is another option also we have, which is come from the Playwright actually. So other option is what? By using page picture itself, we have a method called wait for timeout. Wait for timeout. And here you can specify the time in milliseconds. I say 5,000 means 5 seconds. So here 5,000 milliseconds equal to 5 seconds. Maximum timeout you can specify. That's not fixed actually. You can also put 10,000 milliseconds, nothing will happen. So this is just for parsing my code, nothing else. Okay. Because most of the times, if there is an element is getting delayed or loading late, automatically the Playwright will take care of it, waiting mechanism. So we no need to handle them separately, just like a Selenium. Okay, this is a different mechanism is there. So let us see how we can handle this. So now I'm just trying to enable. So when I use time, we should import the time also. Import time automatically imported. So this will wait for 5 seconds after launching my browser, and then rest of the code will be executed. So let me run once again. Just right click here because we already done the setting. If I go back and run the configuration, you can still see the hyphen hyphen headed mode. Now, first listen, I won't share anything for now. After completion of the session, I will share. Don't do anything parallelly. Just listen. Don't practice anything for now. So just I'm running the test and see this. So now Chromium browser is got launched. Now URL is open. And later I will show you how to how to resize this window. Okay, we have something called porting concept. We can specify the size. We can do customization there. So in whichever way we can customize the size, we can do that. Like mobile portable or web page portable or laptop, desktops. In whichever way we want, we can put that. So this is executed in headed mode now. So one test is got passed. So that means what? It is successfully located this element using alt text, and we are verifying it is visible or not. Okay, so this is the first method. Now let us go to the next one. And through command prompt, if you want to run, how we can run through command prompts? Now go to the command prompt. So if I want to run command prompt, how we can run PyTest and specify the directory where we are created this module / what is the name of the file? Test underscore tw locators demo dot py -s -b. And do we need to pass headed or headless? If I don't give any parameter, in which mode it will execute? By default, headless mode it will run, right? So we need to provide -, headed. Okay, so this parameter will run the test. In headed mode, it will run. So this is my browser. Actually, it is opening in the maximizer way. So big size window, but I'm just dragging into another window. It is minimizing. Actually, the browser will open like this. Yeah, now it is done and one test is got passed. So if you want to run the test through command prompt, this is a procedure. Okay. Now, so this is a simple test we have done. So if you want to close the browser, uh, then we need to go with the context. So we need to, because here we are using existing picture of the page, right? So we're directly working with the page. So I think we cannot directly close. Okay, we will try this. Because if we have a browser context, we can use this method along with the browser. So far we have not touched the topic. We will see. So this will automatically close actually. So it opens the window and after 5 seconds, it is done the validation and then it should close automatically. We'll see because we have used page picture. Yeah, it is automatically closed. So now this is, you can also use this page.close. Okay. So this is one test. So here time.sleep is actually come from the time module, which is built-in module from Python. And this is another one actually. So this is actually come from the Playwright. So both are working in the exact similar way, but functionality is different. It is just for passing the time, passing the code for 5 seconds. But what is the main difference between these is page.wait for timeout. This is also do the same thing. Wait for timeout means it will wait till 5 seconds. This will also do the same thing. Now when I run this code and see. So after launching the page, it will wait for 5 seconds. And after that, it will continue the execution and finally the browser is got closed. Okay, so this is how we can simply use alt text. So when to go with this locator method, if you see the alt attribute for the element like this, alt attribute for the element, you can go with this. But most of the times we can find this alt attribute, especially for images. Okay, so this is the first thing. So now let us move on to the another method called get by text. Get by text. I will provide the notes later. You can just read the document. You will understand the description, examples, everything I have given for every method. Next one, get by text. Get by text. So this method basically we can use to locate the visible text content. So if you want to get any content, text content from the web page, you can use this visible text content. Get by text. By using text, we can get the element. Okay, so let's go back to the same page again. And here in the same page, we have some text here. Let's say welcome to our store. Now I want to check this is visible or not, because as soon as I launch my page, I verified the logo present or not. Then I want to verify the welcome message is displayed or not. So if I look at this element, inspect this element, you can see this is simple text actually, and which is a part of header tag, right? H2 is representing some header. This is simple text, inner text. We call it as an inner text. So this element we can capture by using get by text, or can locate this element using get by text. So let us see how we can do this. So we don't close the page because we will continue this. I will use this close at the end of the test. So the next method is what? Page.get by text. So I verified something here, verified the logo. And here I will also put this.
Now the next method is what? Get by text. Page dot get underscore by underscore text. Get underscore. These are all case sensitive. You need to carefully use it. Okay. Get by text. Okay. So now I want to capture this text element from this web page. So copy this entire text and go back here and just write page dot get by text. This is the method get by text. And here you can provide the full string. And we can also provide the partial string, and we can also give the regular expression. I'll show you that. So now I want to check this particular element is visible. So whenever you want to check visibility, the same method you have to use. Okay. So this is the element actually. If you want to store this element in another variable, you can store it. Or else you can directly put this inside the expect. So previously what we have done, we have captured the element locator inside the variable, and then we use inside the expect. So instead of writing two statements, I can simply write a one single statement like expect of this particular element, close the bracket. This particular element should be visible. So dot, you can continue this to be visible. That's it. One single statement. And similarly, I can also provide the partial text. So instead of giving the full text, here I have given the full text. And if you want to give the partial text, simply you can say partial text. I can say only welcome to. This is also correct. You can simply say partial text. Partial text. And we can also give a regular expression. So means what? We can say page.getByText. And if you want to use regular expression in Python, we need to import one module called RE. RE is a regular expression. Now we want to make it just I put here only welcome. Now before this welcome can be anything. After the welcome also can be anything. So simply what you can do, we can simply say dot star. And here star dot, sorry, dot first dot star and the end dot star. So before and after it can be anything. But we cannot directly put the stars like this. We need to use one function here, which is re dot compile. I'll discuss the differences at the last. First, let us focus on each and every method one by one. Okay. We will compare all the methods and I'll discuss when to use which method. So here I'm just closing this window. re.compile, welcome, and two brackets, and one more bracket is missing here. One more bracket. So this is how we need to put regular expression. Sometimes it is also needed. And this will also do the same thing. So by using regular expression. Regular expression. So the difference between alt text and text means alt text is actually not visible on the web page. See, in the previously, for the logo, we have used alt text, right? If I open this, you can see what is the value here? NVOP commerce demo store. Can you see this message on the UI here? On the logo? No, you are not able to see the text actually. But it is the part of the property. This is a value of the property. But you are not able to see this text, alt text on the UI. But when you go and see this one, inspect this element, you are able to see in the DOM as well as you are able to see on the UI. This is actual text content. Alt text is not a text. That is one of the attribute of the element that is not visible on the web page. But the text is actually visible on the web page. Okay. Now go back. And here for single validation, I have written three statements actually. So you can use one of them. All three things will do only one job. Okay. Now let us run and see. All three should pass along with the previous ones. So how to run it? We already configured that option -edit. If you go and see the modify run configuration, this option is still there. Okay. So we can directly run the test now. So you can directly run and it will open the browser. See, my browser is open and it is started doing the validations. So now my test is got passed. Okay, so single test I have. So in the single test, I put this.
So this is how we can use get by text. If you want to capture any text element from the web page, you can go with the text method. Second one. This is a second one. Total 6 to 7 methods are there. So I will discuss one by one. This is one. This is two. Okay. Now the next one. The third method which we have is get by role. Get by role. So when to use get by role? So what is a role actually? So role is not an attribute of the element. So we can see alt attribute, text content in the web pages and DOM. But role we cannot see on the DOM or we cannot see on the web page also. But what is a role actually? Every element is having certain role. Every element is having certain role. Role is nothing but like a button, or it is a checkbox, or it is a header. These are all the different roles actually. Okay. So there are multiple things in this, different roles are there. So I'll show you how we can use this role first, and then we will discuss what are the list of roles, how we can identify. Suppose if I give one element, how we will know what is the role of that element, right? So we have a list available. So I will share that list. And based on that, we will decide the role of the element. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I will try to go to the next one. Third thing, get by role. Page dot get by role. Page dot get by role. So here I'm trying to go to this particular page, register page directly, because I could see different type of elements here. And this URL I'm going to launch, because as soon as we have done this, the page will be automatically closed. So now I'm going to navigate to another page. So page dot go to, I'm using the go to once again. I'm navigating different page. Right. So in this page, I'm trying to locate this heading, register. Okay, so what is the role of this registry? Is heading is basically every element is having their own role. Like input box is also having their own role, check boxes, buttons. Every element is having their own role. Later, I will show you. I will discuss what are the roles we have. So for now, this is the element I want to locate this. So to locate this element, normally when you inspect this, just you can see only header. And you can also locate this element by using get by text. You can also see here, there is no restriction like we have to use only this particular method for this particular element. There is no concept like this. Okay, you can use whichever locator you want. Our ultimate goal is we should be able to locate the web element on the web page. That's our ultimate goal. You can use whichever method you want, whichever locator you want. You can use XPath, CSS, or Playwright locator, whatever it may be. That is up to your choice. But ultimately, we should be able to locate the element. So if you want to locate element, there are n number of ways are there. So there is no concept like we have to locate the element only in this particular way. No. So if I look at this registers, we can also locate this sometime using get by text also. Maybe it may not work with the get by text sometimes. So you need to try alternate locators. So now I'm going to show you get by role. So here we cannot see any role here in the DOM or UI anywhere, but there is a standard documentation, and accordingly we have to follow. If I go back to their official documentation and read the get by role and what they are exactly saying, see, these are the examples they have given. So for the heading, sign up is basically here, this is the sign up. For the sign up, they have given role is heading. And again, the subscribe actually, this is a checkbox actually. For the checkbox, they have given role as a checkbox. And there is a submit here. For the submit button, they have given the role is a button. But where and how we will know exactly this is a role for this particular element. Okay. So to know that, there are certain standard W3C specifications are there. Accordingly, they have designed that. The roles are already predefined or pre-designed. So where we can see those roles, we go back and see this link, area role. And if I go and open this link, you can find the roles of different type of elements. But you need to read all the document, and somewhere they have given the list. There are different elements you can see. These are the different roles supported for different type of elements. Okay. So I prepared some list where I found some common elements, and you can just go to the list later. So here, this is the HTML element and area role. And for button, button is a role. For image, IMG is a role. Again, you can see input tag sometimes in the DOM. So for that also, you can simply use button as a role. For checkboxes also, you can see input. Wherever you see input, most of the times, the role is either checkbox or input text box. And radio button also. For input also, radio is a role. And you can see these are all input tags. And for LI, list items, list item is a role. For tables, and table is a role. So different type of tags or elements, the different type of roles are there. So these are all predefined. So we have not designed any roles here. Okay, so these roles are predefined by the W3C standards. So that is the information they have given their own documentation here. We need to follow that accordingly. And these things are not there in Selenium. As I said before itself, these locators are specific to Playwright. These locators, whatever I'm discussing today, are specific to Playwright itself. These locators are not there in Selenium. Playwright built-in locators. XPath and CSS are there for almost in every automation, but whatever the things we are discussing today purely belongs to Playwright built-in locators. In Selenium, we don't have them. Okay. So these are the roles. Based on the role, we can locate the elements. Any element we can easily identify by using role. Okay. Now let me show you this. Go back to PyCharm. Now I want to locate this element called register element. This is the element I want to locate. So for that, what I can do? So what is this actually H1? H1 is nothing but what? Heading. So what is the role for heading? If I go back and see, what is the role name of the heading? So you can see H1, H2, H3, wherever, whichever the heading you can see, heading is a role name. Heading is a role name. So that we are going to use it here. So now I'm using page dot get underscore by underscore role, get by role. And here you just specify the role. So what is the role we have to provide here? Heading is a role. And along with the role, you need to also specify the name of the element. So what is the name of the element here is register. Simply copy this and you can provide name equal to register. So this will get you the element. And again, if you want to add assertion, if this element is visible or not, simply you can continue. You can put this in the expect function and dot same to be visible. So when I use get by role, two parameters we need to pass. One is the role name. Second one is a name of the element. Okay. And sometimes get by text may not work for some elements. In those cases, you can go with the get by role. This is one option which is available. Similarly, you can also locate other elements, whatever you can see here, first name, last name, email. So these elements also you can easily locate by using get by role. Okay, I'm going to show you these elements also by using another locator. We will see that. Next one. Let's go and execute this. And these two are we already done. And these three. So first and second methods will use this URL. And the third one, get by role, will use this particular URL. So this is get underscore by underscore role. All should be lowercase characters. Okay. Now run this. I will also put this timeout here so that we will able to see the page. Otherwise, it will go very faster. Okay, I think it is went to headed mode again. Okay, it is failed. So let us see the configuration once. Modify the run configuration. Headed is there. Okay. Okay, so sleep 5 seconds. Where is the error is exactly? So here, to be visible is failing. Waiting for get by alt text. I think the first one is failing again. So let us run one more time. Right click, run it. Yeah, so now the page is got launched. And first a few validations have been done. And then after that, it will go to register page. Now it went to register page.
and it will just you verify this registration is visible using get by role locator. So 100% passed. This is one method which we have. Next one, the fourth one, get by label page dot. So get underscore by underscore role. Actually, this is the actual name. Page dot get underscore by underscore label. This is also another useful method. Get by label. So where exactly we use this? Labels, where we can find the labels on the page. And for example, you can see these are the labels actually. Gender, first name, last name, email. These are all labels. Label is nothing but that is actually representing some element, beside element. You can see this is input box. And if you don't have this label, how we will know whether it is first name or not? You don't have, right? You don't actually. So if you put this label beside this, then you will know this box will accept first name. Similarly, this box will accept email. So that is called label actually. So if you know the label, you can interact with that element. You no need to directly get this element. Actually, where we need to put the value, here we need to put the value. But you no need to locate this element. If you have the label beside it, you can happily locate this element by using this label. Okay. So let us see. We can also directly interact with this element, or if we have a label beside that element, you can still use that labels to interact with these elements. So for that, we use this method called get by label. This is the method, get by label. So on the same registration page, I'm trying to use this get by label. Okay, now page dot get underscore get by label, get by label. And what is the label of the first name? Same thing we need to copy, exactly same thing we need to copy and just provide. Actually, we have not interacted, we are not locating that input box here, but we are locating the label. So with this label, we can interact with this element. So that is the beauty of this locator. So page dot get by label, and this statement, this method will return the element. And in the input box, what is an action normally we do? We provide some text. We will provide certain text on the input box, right? So here we have a method called fill. Fill. Fill is a method. It is just like a send keys method in Selenium. So what the fill method will do? It will, whatever text we have entered, that will be added to the input box. I can say some text here. By using label also, we can get the element. Now, similarly, I'll also try to locate another element using label, last name. Go to the last name. And here, I'll just provide another name. And email. So we can also locate this email. So what is the label? Email is a label. And here I can say ABC, some email address I just provided. Okay, similarly, we can also interact with any of these elements, whichever having labels. So here password, confirm password, and here also male, female, these two are the labels. So after that, again, I will wait for a few seconds so that I will able to see whether it is entered the values properly or not. So after keeping this, then I'm going to run it once again. We can just look at it. Now you can see the values have been entered in the 3 input boxes. Okay, so whenever you can see the labels beside those elements, you can use those labels directly to locate the elements. So in those cases, it will be very helpful. Get by label. So you no need to directly interact with these input elements. This is another way. You can also use another locators to interact with the input boxes directly. But if you have a label, using label also, we can locate these elements. Okay. So you can see the labels directly on the UI beside these elements. These are all labels. And now you can see company details. Is it label? How we will recognize whether it is how you can differentiate is a label or normal text. So the labels are always associated with some element. Okay. And if I look at here, company details, is it associated with any element, specific element? No, it is just representing some section here. That's it. But if I look at here, company name is having some element, representing some element here. And password, confirm password. These labels are representing some specific elements here. And company details, options, password, these are all not labels actually. They are simple text. By using get by text, we can grab those elements. But if we have a labels, you can get those elements by using the beside labels. Okay. So this is how we can use get by label. Next one, get by placeholder. Fifth one. These are all methods we can access from the page fixture itself. Page dot get by placeholder. Get by placeholder. Again, the placeholder is something different. So most of the times you won't see placeholder. I'll tell you what is a placeholder here. Placeholder is again attribute. So if I go back to the page once again, and you can see some search box here, right? Search store. And if you inspect this element, and you can see something called placeholder. So placeholder is again an attribute. Placeholder is an attribute. So if any element is having this placeholder attribute, then you can use this method, get by placeholder. Okay, so if you don't have this attribute, then you can try with another type of methods. But if you have a placeholder, you can directly use get by placeholder to get this search box. Now my requirement is I just want to locate this input box. Okay, another thing. So do you have any label for this input box? The search box. Do you have any label for this search box? Do we have any label for this search box? Look at this HTML also, DOM also. Do we have any label for this? No, we don't have any label for this. This is a button actually. This is another element. Okay, this is just an element which doesn't have any label. Label is nothing but it should have something here, some text. It's not there. Okay, it doesn't have any label. These are not labels actually. So whatever attributes are not labels. Okay, so we need to locate this element using placeholder. So placeholder is nothing but this one. So the inner, this is not search store, whatever is showing inside this, that is actually placeholder. So whatever you can see here, placeholder search store, same thing is appear here inside this. Suppose if you start typing something, it is disappear. That is called placeholder. Until you put some value inside the input box, that value is still there. But once you start putting some value here, it is disappear. That is called placeholder. And that is defined using this particular attribute, placeholder. Okay. So now by using this placeholder, let us try to locate this element and put some value inside it. So go back. And this is the fifth one. So on the same registration page, we are there. So we no need to navigate to any other page. So directly can say page dot get by, page dot get by label, right? So you can directly specify the label, whatever there, get by placeholder dot get underscore by underscore placeholder. And now we can directly put this placeholder inside this double quotes. Okay. And this will actually get the element. And what is an action we can do in this input box? Again, fill. We can pass some value in it. So dot fill. And here I'm passing some text. Let's say Apple MacBook. Some text I'm passing. I'm just filling the input box with some value. Okay. So the placeholder is one attribute will be there for one element. Okay. So this is one single element is having one placeholder. If there is any other element like this, they're having some different kind of placeholder. The value will be different. Placeholder value will be different.
Okay, so for now, this element is having only one placeholder. So that is an attribute we are using. And if you have a multiple elements are having same attributes, that is a different story. So I think that is your question. If you have a multiple elements, we want to locate multiple group of elements which are having same kind of an attribute or same kind of a placeholder. Yeah, that is a different story. We have a different methods. We can filter them, or we can use something called first, last, certain methods are there. So we will see how we can identify group of web elements later. For now, just focus on specific web elements. Okay. Yeah. So get by placeholder, and this is the placeholder dot fill, because it's the input box. I'm just filling the some text here. Now let us see whether it is got filled or not. Again, I'm putting some time here so that I will able to see whether it is putting the value or not. So after keeping it, and then again, I'm running the test. Okay, now look at this. We started doing all the validation. Now it is went to registration page. Now we can just look at the search store. After entering the values, now it should go to search store and enter some value there. Yeah, now you can see the values got entered in the input box. So by using placeholder, we located that element. Okay, so this is an example. But if you want to use this placeholder, you should have this attribute inside the DOM. And if you don't have this attribute for the element, you cannot use this. You need to go with any other locators. Now, after placeholder, the next one is get by title. Sixth one, page dot get underscore by underscore title. Get by title. Even title is also an attribute. Okay. So title is also an attribute. So if we have this attribute for the element, so we can easily locate this element, this title. So let us see if we have any elements with the title, or else we will navigate to some other web page. Okay. So let me go to some other web page, because most of the times we cannot find everything in one single page. We need to deal with multiple applications, or we need to deal with multiple pages. So now let me move on to the next one. Get by title. So for that, I'm going to use a different page. Yeah, let me open this. So we have something called test automation practice blogspot.com. So here you can see playwright practice. So this is the page I'm going to use. And in this, I have different elements here. So many elements. So later you guys can use this page for practice, because all the locators, you can use this. So these are all elements you can locate by using get by role. Similarly, these elements you can locate by using get by text. And these elements you can locate by using get by label. So different sections I have given, you can use it for practice purpose later. Now I'm going to locate an element using title. Okay, so here you can see the different elements are there. So now I want to locate these elements. Let's home, HTML, some text, some button is there, right? So these elements should have a title. So then only we will able to locate those elements. So let us inspect this element and see. You can see the home. This is basically a link, but having title attribute. Okay, perfect. Now let us look at the save button. Yeah, this is the save button, and which is also having the title attribute. So all these elements are having title attribute. So these elements we can easily locate using get by title. So let's look at this element, first one. What is the title here? Home page link. This is the title. Let me go back and page dot get by label. Sorry, title. Title, and simply pass the title of the element. So this is simple text element, right? So what we can do on the text element normally? So in this, I can put some different validation. For example, I located this element. Sorry, I located this element, home element. Actually, by seeing the title, will you know what is the text present on this page? Just by seeing the title. So you can see the home, right? So go back to the home here. So by seeing the title, home page link. So just by seeing the title, we cannot confirm the visible text here, which is home, right? So what I want to do is I want to check this particular title should contains home or not, or this particular title is having h home or not. That's how we can do validation. Simply, I will try to use one more type of expect here. So this will get the element actually. So what I'm going to verify is expect page dot get by title. So this will get the element. But what I want to verify is this element is having text or home, HOME. How we can verify dot to have text. So we have a method called to have text. So we will discuss all this assertion in the separate sessions. Don't worry, because it is very difficult to remember all kinds of assertion methods. We have a list of assertions. We will have 2 to 3 sessions only on the assertions topic. Okay. But here it is needed. So that's the reason I'm just trying to use some of the assertions randomly. So to have text. So what's the text we are expecting in this? Home, I'm expecting. Okay. And similarly, suppose if you want to verify another thing, let's say HTML. And I want to, if I look at this title, what is the title contains hypertext markup language. But do we have HTML inside this? HTML? No, but still we can validate by using this title. We can grab the element and we can verify this title is having HTML text or not. Same thing. First get the element page dot get by text, get by title, sorry, get by title, specify the title. But by seeing this title, we don't know what is actual text is presenting on the page. So we need to add one assertion for this. I can say expect and dot, again say a method to have text. To have text of what is the text we are expecting in this HTML we are expecting. Okay. So this is how we can validate the elements if you have a title attribute. If you do not have a title attribute, you should go with another type of locators. We cannot use this. Okay, certain methods required an attribute should be present in the DOM. So especially alt text and a label and a placeholder, title, these things should be part of the DOM. Role, except the role, rest of all things you can see in the DOM, but role is not present in the DOM. Okay, so look at this now. So you can look at this. So two elements we have captured and verified something, and now let us run this. So I'm just running this again. Locate by title or get by title. Sorry, this is a first test. So because first few tests, we have launched this particular page, and after completion of this test, then it will go to another URL. We have written only one single test function. Inside this, I'm just showing you all the locators. And if you want, you can split them into multiple test functions. Now it has got failed. So let's see why it has got failed. You can just go back. All these things are fine. Yeah, now you can see expected to have text with timeout 5000 millisecond waiting for get by title home page link. Get by title home page link. So it is trying to get the home page link title, but it could not find it. You can see elements not found. It is clearly saying assertion error. Locator expected to have text home. So there is some problem in the expected value. So let's see. We missed something there. Yeah, so we haven't specified the go to actually, right? We haven't navigated to the page. So it is just verifying these things are on the same page, whatever we opened previously. So we need to navigate to the page, page dot go to, and we need to provide the new URL. This is the new application URL. Okay, done. Let's go and run it again. So you can write multiple tests, not a problem. Okay, so you can write multiple test functions for every method.
So now these tests are completed on this particular page. Now after that, it will navigate to another page. Now we can look at this. So navigation is very simple in Playwright. But in Selenium, it is again a little bit complex because we need to create another WebDriver instances there. For every application URL, we need to create a different WebDriver instances. But in Playwright, we can easily navigate from one application to another application. So now it is get passed. So this is get by title. And there is one more method which we have, the last one, get by test ID. It's very rare case. Most of the times you don't find it, but sometimes you can find test ID. So page dot get by underscore get by test ID. So test ID is also attribute of the element. If we have this test ID, so then only you will able to use this locator for that element. So test ID. So if I look at this same page again, we have certain elements here. These are all having test ID. If I suppose if you want to locate this email, inspect this email address, you can see this data-test ID. So this is the actual attribute, data-test ID. And similarly, name John Doe. And this name profile name is also having data.test ID. So all these elements, whatever is there inside this box, having test ID, data-test ID. So if we have such property or attribute, you can locate this element. So let us say I want to verify this profile name is John Doe or not. Simply go back and use it. So page dot get underscore by test ID. Simply specify the test ID of the element. Test ID in the sense data test ID. Again, inspect this element. So profile hyphen name, data hyphen test ID value is what? Profile hyphen name. Just provide this. So after that, I just want to verify this particular element is having the right name or not. So what is the name? It is actually displaying John Doe. That's correct or not, I want to verify. And you can use dot same to have text. But we have to put this in the expect exception, right? Expect page dot get by test ID dot to have text and specify the text value here. Don't copy everything, just specify the test ID value. John Doe. Okay, that's it. So now this will verify this particular element is having the text or not. Same thing, email ID also we can verify same thing. So expect email is also having same test ID attribute and the value is profile email. It's the profile name, profile email, and that value is this one. This is the value. These are two validations. Using test ID also, we can locate the elements. Now, let us run it again. Because I put wait times, right? So that's the reason it is taking time to complete the test. If I don't put the time, within few seconds, it will able to finish everything, which is very faster than Selenium. Playwright is very, very faster when you compare with the Selenium. Okay, so now it will try to get everything from this page and then it is got closed and every test is got passed. Okay, so these are the few methods which we have. These are all Playwright locators, Playwright specific locators. So alt text is a property. If you have this attribute or property in the DOM, then only you can use this for any element. Same thing, text element, and role is only the different part. So other than all other methods, get by role is different because this role is defined by a third party. Okay, some other W3C standard. Based on that, the roles are designed, and rest of all the things we should depend on the DOM itself. Okay, so get by text, get by role, get by label, placeholder, get by title, test ID. Test ID, data test ID is an attribute. Title is also attribute. Placeholder is also attribute.
And the label is actually not an attribute actually. So label is also a kind of a text beside the element. And get by role. Okay, no. In the get by role, not only heading, there are many things come into picture in the get by role. Okay, not only heading, even buttons also we can use get by role. Okay, so I'll show you another example so that it will be clear. So far everything is clear. I will show another example. Quickly, another 5 minutes, we will able to finish. How we can differentiate is headed or headless mode. If you are able to see the UI, that is a headed mode. If you're not able to see the UI, that is headless mode. I think this is not the new thing today. So in the previous classes also we have done this. Headless mode and headed mode. Okay, so now I'll show you some more examples, especially get by role. We will see. Line number 47. Yeah, this is get by title actually. So we're getting the element using title and we are checking that title element is having this text or not, HTML or not. So that is a validation actually. These two are the validations. First, we are getting the element using get by titles. And once we get this element, we are just checking this element is having this text or not. If I go back and see the page, look at this title, right? So you can just go back and see here home is a actual value. HTML is also value. But if I look at the title of this HTML home, that is different. You can see this title is different. Okay. So label is different. Title is different. Title is an attribute. Label is not an attribute. Label is not attribute. As I said, the label is representing a specific element. Label is, suppose you can look at this, email address. Is it label or text? Is it label or text? It is a label because it's representing some input box. Similarly, password is a label, age is a label, standard, express, these are the labels. And this is the button. This is the image. And these are all text again. Home is a text, HTML is a text. These are all texts. Okay. So if different web URL is used in one test, then new Chromium browser or new tab in the same browser will be open. It's not like that actually. What will happen is internally, first we are launching this URL, right? And after that, I have done some validation and I just go to the next page. It is basically navigating to the new page. It is not going to create any new browser. Okay, whenever I say page.go to, it will launch the new page because here, as soon as these validations are done, this page is automatically closed. So this is open the new page actually. New page, not the new tab. New tab is different. New page is different. So once we started the new page, the previous page is already closed. So now when this new page is alive still, we completed all this validation, this page is alive. And again, we have opened another page here. So till that time, still the old page is alive. So as soon as you navigate to the again next page, the old page is gone. That is automatically closed. Again, the new browser is open. New page is open. So whenever you say page.goto, that is going to open the new page every time. Okay. And that page is alive till you open another page, another go-to command. So in one single test, you can open multiple URLs and multiple applications you can work on. But if you want to open multiple applications in multiple tabs, that is a different concept. We will discuss that in the coming sessions, how to handle multiple windows, how to switch between the tabs, how to switch between the windows. That's a different story. Okay. But for now, whenever you're opening this page.goto, that is opening the new page on the browser and the previous page will be closed. And after closing the previous page, the new page will be open. That's the functionality. So nested window, incognito mode, all these things will be supported in Playwright. Okay, in upcoming sessions, I will cover all these topics. We have all these topics. These are all upcoming topics, frames, everything. No need to ask, guys. I know what I should tell. Okay, don't worry. I'll cover each and everything. After completion of the course, if still there anything pending, then you can ask. Okay, fine. So now let me, okay, I can do one thing, guys. I will give you an assignment. You guys can try. If you're not able to, tomorrow session, I will explain this based upon today's concept only. I will provide the solution also. Let's go to the page. Orange HRM login. So my test case is just I want to launch this particular URL. Okay, now here I want to log in using admin and admin123. This is my page. Okay, so you should open username and I should put a username admin123 is my password. And then I click on the login. And once you successfully log in, then I want to verify the visibility of the dashboard. So this dashboard, the text is visible or not. I want to verify that. This is simple test. And you have to use Playwright locators. So you can use up to you. Choice is yours. What are the locators you will use? Among the 7 locators, whichever locator you want, you can use it. But ultimately, I want to automate this from the login. Just launch the page and enter the username, enter the password. Just click on the login. Only 3 elements you need to interact here. Click on the admin username, password, clicking on the login. And then once you successfully log in, then you need to verify the dashboard page. That's it. So dashboard is there or not. This is the test case. You guys can try this as an assignment. Tomorrow we will continue with the rest of the things. Okay. So that's all for today's class. Yeah, you need to use a click method. So to click on the button, you need to use a click method. And if you want to fill the text on the input box, you have to use fill method. Only 2 methods you need to use, guys. Okay. Only 2 methods. Anyway, tomorrow session, I will introduce those methods, but for now, I'm just giving. So if you want to perform some task here, you need to use click method. Just identify this element button, either by using role or any other locator, whatever I provided list of locators, and just perform the click action on this. Once you perform the click action, it will navigate to the next dashboard page and then verify the dashboard, that message or text is visible or not. So that is your assignment for today's class. You try this. And apart from this, you guys can also try this one. This is the page. So automation testing, you can just go to this URL. I will also ping in the chat box. I will provide the solutions also, guys. So you can see get by role locators, get by text locators, all these elements we can locate using get by text. Similarly, all these elements we can locate using get by label. These are all Playwright specific locators. So I have designed a separate page only for Playwright practice. Playwright locators practice. Okay, you can deal with all these elements. So I will provide the solution for this as well as this orange HRM, both the things. And you guys can start practicing from today onwards. Okay. Yes. So yeah, go to the assignment. So the first assignment is what? Orange HR test automation. This is the one. And the second assignment is orange HRM. Okay, so I will provide the solutions for these two. I will also upload the solutions in the drive. You can get it from there. And before that, just try to practice this one round of practice and get familiar with this. And then go and practice these 2 assignments. Okay. So that's all for today's class. We will stop here and we will continue tomorrow's session.